Hi folks, I'm going to tell you some stories that if I was able to curse, I would be cursing right now. But I have a personal prohibition against cussing. So think of every curse word you could possibly think of, then imagine me saying that. And it's in reference to the commie, thug, gangster regime in the Middle Kingdom, commie-led China. Those commies are lower than a snake's belly and a wagon rut. The stories I'm about to tell you, I have links to the stories in the description. This has to do with a region of China currently known as Xinjiang. But its real name is East Turkistan, as called by the Uyghur people who inhabit that region, who are native to that region. Well, the commies took over the place in 1949 and they start injecting their oppression, as they do everywhere commies are. Well, recently, I think it was in 2009, there was a riot by the Uyghur people where some people were murdered, resulting in a 17-year-old young man, Uyghur person, being arrested, but, among many others. But I'm talking about this one individual by the name of Noor-UL-Islam Sherbaz, is something like that. I'm sorry if I butchered his name. He's arrested and charged with murder because in the riot some people were murdered. They put him on trial for 30 minutes, a 30-minute trial, a murder trial. He's sentenced to life in prison after a 30-minute murder trial. And they had evidence that he was guilty. They showed some videos. And the first video, yep, there was a crowd of Uyghurs beating up on a person that resulted in the person's death. But he was not in that video. Huh? They showed another video, and there he was. But he wasn't in that crowd. And he didn't have anything in his hands. Proof enough. He was out in the street that day. He's a murderer. So they showed another video. That was made 2 months after the incident. 2 months after he was incarcerated, being beat up every day and deprived of food. They take him to the scene where the murder took place, and there he admits to being involved. Ha ha! He's guilty. After 2 months of being beat up, sentenced to life in prison. He's sent to a prison far on the other side of the region. His mother makes her way there to visit him, and he was all beat up and bruised. Because in commie prisons, when you're a political prisoner, why, you get beat up every day. She goes home. Later on that night, he's dead. Lethal injection, they say. Harvesting his organs. They would not give the body to the family. You see, folks, he was a young man, a healthy young man, and his organs are quite valuable. He's a political prisoner. In commie-led China, they harvest the organs of political prisoners. I have a link to an article in the description. I urge you to read it. And if it does not bring a tear to your eye, if not outright burst of crying, as it did to me, I had to stop when I was reading this article a few times because of the emotion I was overwhelmed with. This is what the commies do to political prisoners in East Turkestan, the Uyghurs. Or they shoot them for their organs. But they don't shoot them dead. They know of a place in the chest where if you shoot a bullet into it, it acts as an anesthesia. It knocks the person out, but the body's still alive. They slice the body open and they yank out the blood-soaked organs to be harvested. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, why be that cruel where you could just shoot the body dead and take the organs? Good question. The commies have also discovered that an organ from a dead body has a higher rejection rate than an organ taken from a live body. And it's worth more money to the commies. And it's made in China. Yeah, much like the products you buy in the store that says made in China. So is that blood-soaked organ extracted from a live body. When you purchase an item that says made in China, hold it in your hands and envision that to be an organ extracted from a live body with the blood soaking down your hands because you're just as guilty. Now I understand we have choices. Excuse me. Now I understand sometimes we have no choice. We have to buy the item made in China or do without a much needed item. I can understand that, and we have no choice. I myself are guilty of that, and I blame my government for that. But there are plenty instances where we have the choice. It's going to cost us more money, but I'd spend that money, and I'd rather spend that money than to spend it on a blood-soaked item that says made in China, because I'm holding the victim's heart. I'm holding the victim's lungs and liver that was extracted from a live body just so I could save a few dollars. Are you not just as guilty of this horrendous crime when you do that? We as individuals can't stop the commies from the harvesting of organs, but in our own special little way, we could choose not to participate in it. Made in China, put it back on the shelf. A bunch of Uyghurs were upset with something, so they were going to demonstrate in front of a police station. It was in winter time. They take their clothes off to show the police we're unarmed. It did not matter to the police. They shot into the crowd with live ammunition, murdered 400 unarmed Uyghurs. Did they not have tear gas that was made in China? Did they not have rubber bullets that were made in China? Did they not have a water cannon that was made in China that they could have used? But we have those products that are made in China that are soaked in blood. They chose to use live ammunition and bullets and killed 400 of them in cold blood. You're making that same choice when that product says made in China and you have a choice. These are disgusting people at the helm of the commie-led government in China. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, folks. We will live to see the end of that gangster regime. And I thank God for that. It's going to come, folks. But we have to pray. And we have to put those live organs on the store shelf back, because that's what you're buying. A live organ made in China. We'll see you, folks. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the nation you happen to be in. God bless the Tibetan people. God bless those poor Uyghur people. And please, God, be with those people that were murdered for their organs. And all the other people in China that have to live under the suppression of this outlaw, illegal, gangster regime. When it says made in China, so does that live organ, so does that organ extracted from a live body made in China. There's no difference. See you.